Hey everyone, it's Rolly, and welcome to day 28 of our Soulful journey. So we are almost done. So we have 2 more days after today, finishing up our Soulful journey. And so one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is cognitive behavioral tools. And so cognitive behavioral tools is a fancy word of being able, or a fancy technique word, or I don't even know what I want to call it, but it is just one of those techniques that are used to be able to help us reset what it is that's going on in terms of our dysfunctional beliefs and attitudes. So, like, we have so many things that are ingrained with us, and so one of the things that I use often with clients is this particular technique that I've been doing for a long time and that I've also learned a long time ago. And it's CBT for short. And sometimes I will post something about CBT in a group and somebody will actually say, yeah, we don't talk about that kind of stuff. So they're thinking CBD, which are two different things, completely different. So these are cognitive behavioral tools is what it's called. And so it is something that I have used in my practice for many, many years. And like I said, I've also used it for my own benefit. So as most of you know, anxiety is very prevalent for me, and so is depression. And so this isn't a one-off thing for me. This is something that comes back from time to time where I think that I've got a good handle on it, and then sometimes something just um, happens, and then it just sets me off into a whirlwind where I have to try and figure out what I'm going to do next. And so that is something that is really important for us to be able to have, is those skills. So yesterday we were talking about like just being able to practice that breathing and being able to kind of bring yourself back into that space. And so that's one of the things with CBT, is being able to challenge your thoughts and challenge your ideas. And it's like, okay, so what proof do you have? Right? So how do you know that that's true? And sometimes how do you know that that's true? It really is true because it is something that happened. But some things that we bring our emotions around may not necessarily be true, right? So those dysfunctional beliefs are not necessarily what is actually accurate. And so being able to break things down into little tiny steps. So I have a program that I offer that is called Love Yourself Again. And it is 6 weeks and it's specifically 6 weeks, and you only get the lessons every week because it really is about breaking down everything into like these tiny portions of like, okay, so what's going on? What are your thoughts? What's going on? Why is that important? Figuring out where the automatic thoughts are. So one automatic thought that comes up a lot is, here we go again. Right. So a lot of times when something bad is happening, then it's like, oh, here we go again. It never stops. And those are automatic thoughts. Those are not necessarily true facts. That's not necessarily what's really truly happening. And so by being able to break it down into these little steps, these many steps, allows us to be able to have that ability of being able to take things to the next step. And so I had one client last year and I loved what it is that she said. So like, not that I don't love what other clients say, but one particular client said, you really make me think, right? So we get stuck in our head all the time. And so these questions or these techniques allow you to be able to like really stop and really challenge what it is that's going on. And so before the course was even finished, she was actually coming back to our classes with already an outlook of like, okay, what am I going to do next? How am I going to be able to do this? How am I going to challenge this? How can I reframe what it is that I'm thinking? And it was remarkable to be able to see how that happened. But it really is about being able to give yourself the opportunity to think through, is this really true? And so a good example that is in the course is a lady leaves her car. She's leaving it in the apartment, and then she goes or she gets to the apartment. She leaves her car from work, and then she goes upstairs. Well, she can't remember if she locked car door. And so the car door, so then she goes back out and she locks it, and then she double locks it, and like then she goes back and checks it to make sure that she's locked it. And so like in that whole process of the things that are going on, when we actually break down that that scenario, what it is that's going on, and we break it down to why is she doing that, her why is very legit. Her why was her car was broken into. And so making sure that her car is locked is something that is real for her. Having somebody break into your car is real for her. So it's not one of those distorted thinking that it's like, oh, it's never going to happen, or it's never happened before. In this particular instance, it did happen. And so being able to look at figuring out what's going on. So like, what makes you think that your car's not locked if you push the button like 10 times versus once, right? So you push the button, or I generally push the button twice, which allows it to beep, my car to beep, and then I walk away. And so, but not because I'm paranoid of doing it. It's just, okay, did I do it? And so for me, it's just that reminder that, yeah, okay, I need to push the button. And so then that allows me to be able to think through, but like, I don't go back and check, did I lock the car door? I don't have these paranoid thoughts of like, well, what happens if? And so just being able to have these opportunities for us to be able to work through whatever it is that's happening, so that we can slow things down, so that we can actually break it down into something that's more manageable, and really challenge whether or not this is fact, or whether or not, and again, sometimes it is fact, but like, what can we be doing instead? So if it is fact, then what can you do? So somebody who's paranoid about going out in a snowstorm, well, they may be paranoid of going out in a snowstorm because they've been in an accident in a snowstorm. Or they've lost somebody in a snowstorm, or whatever. So like that particular scenario is real. However, what are some of the things that they can be doing to allow themselves to be able to, one, they can just not go. Two, they can have somebody else drive them. Three, they can leave a little bit earlier. Or like, and so there's a lot of different scenarios, or a lot of different ways of being able to look at it, so that you can actually change the way that you're looking at it, or change the way that you're thinking about it. And so it just allows you to be able to have some tools and some structure as to how that particular event will happen. So one of the things that I want to be able to share with you, if you want, is a cognitive distortion checklist. But also, if you want to be able to do this 6-week training, so when you are on this day, if you want to be able to do this, I will actually offer it to you for free. So it's not going to cost you anything to do it if you want to be able to do it, but it has to be within, so we're on day 28. It has to be within 5 days after the 28th day. And so if you're actually catching this on the replay inside the learning portal, then 5 days after you have started this journey, that is when, or 5 days after the 28th day that you've been on this journey, then I will actually offer that to you for free for the entire year of 2024. So from now until 2020, the end of 2024. So if you're listening to this in 2025, then it's not something that I will gift out. But if this is something that you really want to be able to tap into, then let me know, and I will be more than happy to share that 6-week program with you. So on that note, I will chat with all of you guys later, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.